Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. You thought I wasn't coming. You thought I wasn't coming tonight. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. We're less than 6 hours away to start the new year. And of course, we want to end this year off with a bang. No pun intended, of course. So put a one in the chat. Make sure you guys can hear me. How's the sound? How's the sound? How's the sound? Let me switch up glasses. Hold on. I want to look in your face. I want to look in your face. Okay, good, good. People can hear me. Tipsy, tipsy. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. What I got to say tonight, after doing some investigative journalism and reviewing interesting content on a few different subject matters. As you guys can see, we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to talk about the situation involving DJ Akademiks, as well as this ongoing lawsuit involving Tasha K, Latasha Kiwi, and Kevin Hart, along with Maisha Shakes. And then we want to talk about a little bit about Cardi B. Shout out to Cardi B. She is in Miami right now, and she's under the weather. And from what I understand, the air quality or something is irritating her, but she is in Miami because she has a big performance tonight coming into the new year. So, yeah, shout out to Cardi B as well. Now, what should we talk about first? What do you want to hear first? What do you hear most for first? Type in the chat what you hear most for, and let's see if we can start it that way. I know a lot of you are in here for, but I want to see what you're in here for. So put it in the chat. Let me know what you guys are in here for tonight, because we have 4 topics to talk about. And we're not going to be here a long time, but we're going to be here some time. Okay, let's see here. So one says AK. The other says Cardi B. Oh, to get well, Cardi B. Okay, then so AK. I don't know if I want to go into AK right now, but I think it's significant. AK situation is very interesting. It's very interesting. But you know what? You guys came here. We're going to talk about AK. This is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about AK because I think AK's topic is very significant because of everything that's transpired in the last 48 hours. I want everyone to. You've seen a lot of posts on different platforms calling for him to be taken down off the internet, to be canceled, to be wiped off the face of the earth. And it was a lot of stuff there. I saw immediately after the initial video drop of this young lady, I saw people calling for everything from his death to him being canceled and to a ton of other things. But a lot of you haven't researched his story. You haven't researched his story. Many people have a knee-jerk reaction to something that's posted on social media, and it's because it just sometimes fits their narrative. Well, we're not going to really go into other people's narrative more so than we're going to go into the substance up with what was said online. We had to go into the substance. And I want people to understand why. And I'll just tell you right now, based on my understanding of the situation, I would say 90% of what he's saying is, I won't say 90. I'll say a lot of what he's saying can be verified. It can be verified, and I want people to take their pen and paper out so you can take some notes. Because I actually don't need notes because we have a replay here. But we're going to talk about DJ Akademiks. Initially, he had did a video, I want to say in the last 24 hours, or maybe a little longer now, where he's discussing a situation that he had with 2 individuals, 2 young ladies. One was his former girlfriend. I don't know if she's still his girlfriend. And another one was another individual. And I'm not going to say a name. I know both individuals' names, but I'm not going to say their name. You guys can do your research, but I'm not going to say their names on this live. just because there's no need to do that. Let's just go ahead and look at what DJ Akademiks initially said in his probably about an hour live. And I think his full live is on the YouTube channel as well. So you guys can go ahead and listen to what he said. It was some things in there I think he might have embellished on, but other things in what he said, I was looking for specific things what he was saying in that video, because the specific things he was saying, that's why I honed in on. I wasn't honing in on $500,000. I wasn't honing in on certain other things he was saying. I was honing in on what he said about the police kicking his door in. And I want to go into that. The police kicking his door in. Because that's where, as an investigative journalist, I can verify. Because based on what he said, the police had a warrant, a search warrant. And it may have been a no-knock warrant, whereas they don't need to knock on your door because of exigent circumstances. They can just come in and kick in your door. But in this instance, according to what he said, which can be verified as well, that they knocked on the door. They knocked on the door. And typically when police are trying to either seize evidence that could be destroyed, like in the case of narcotics that could be flushed down the toilet, they typically come in with a battering ram and take your door out or knock your door down. So because they want to preserve wherever they can preserve. So let's analyze some of the things he said. I'm not going to play his video here, but you guys can go and research it. And if you guys listen to what he said, you can bring it to the timeline of his video and say, okay, this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. So let's talk about the police kicking in his door. So they kicked in his door. They probably told him they had a search warrant to retrieve certain items, one of which would probably have been all cameras that would probably have recorded whatever was going on in his house, outside perimeter cameras, whatever. They probably would have asked for his clothes. They probably would have asked for items that would have been in his residence that they would have retrieved. And this too can be verified doing a little research. So the biggest thing for me was when it happened, how long it happened, and the timeline in which this story is now being told. So some people say, why is he telling the story now? Why would Akademiks tell a story now about a situation that happened a year ago? Well, the logical reason for me to believe he told the story now is because he may have not wanted to talk about it back then, because everything is not for everybody. In this case, as he said in his video, he had retained an attorney, as he should. He said he also was interviewed by police. Now, even that interview is accessible to the public. Very important. The things he said in that video about this incident can be verified, because us journalists know how to retrieve information. So with that said, let's just go on the face value of what he said and how you can, and why it makes sense. So the detectives that obviously came into his home came there for a purpose. They came there to retrieve items. Those items, whatever it was taken back down to the police department. They had a complaint of a young lady making allegations. Now, in that complaint, according to his video, she didn't know the individuals. She only knew one of the individuals because he provided a phone number for that individual, because she made a request to get that individual's information. Now, she's obviously I'm not even going to say obviously she's going to speak out. She did this same young lady did a video yesterday and said certain things. And I'll tell you why I believe that might be a problem because of the timeline in which this happened. So if she's made a police report a year ago, then that case, because of what he has stated, he's been cleared from it. And typically, you're going to get cleared or you're going to get charged. You're going to get charged and you're going to get processed. You're going to get processed, and the case is going to be a pending case and go to trial. But according to him and the two other individuals were cleared. Then someone asked, why did the police clear them? Well, they cleared all these individuals because they may have had information to show that the person's account wasn't what it was. So if someone comes back a year later and make a declaration, say, you did this to me, that same individual would have had to make that declaration to the police back then. That person would have to say, this person did that back then. And if that didn't happen back then, at least with naming DJ Akademiks as one of the perpetrators, then why would that person say it now? Because that person had the ability to say it back then when she said there were two other individuals that had took advantage of her. Now, we can verify this. This can be verified. But a year later, you cannot make that declaration when you said two individuals did something. You didn't say him because it would have been three of you. Because what she said in the video, we're gonna play the video and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play the video.
That's not what happened, Akademiks. You know that that's not what happened. And for you to pretend that you didn't do anything, that I just went to your house and I'm just some thought, like we didn't know each other for 2 years. You tried to save yourself after your friends assaulted me. Whether or not you got drunk or not, I know that when you woke up, you were on top of me too. You raped me too, and a rape kit was done. You know what? I'm gonna come back with my own story. This what you wanted, you're about to get it. I've been quiet for way too long.
Okay, so we heard what she just said. She said a rape kit was done. Mind you, this was a year ago. This happened a year ago. So she said a rape kit was done. So these type of cases are investigated immediately. They're going to either be prosecuted or cleared by the detectives. This is what their job is. This is their job. When you make a claim like this, you're investigating everything. So the question I have is, what did they have? What did they see to clear these individuals? Also, was there alcohol involved? And that's significant. Alcohol is a significant part of this. According to some of the things that has been said by DJ Akademiks, he went to sleep. He woke up. His friends were gone. Maybe someone told him to lock the door, whatever the case is. But then he says in the video, I watched the entire video. He says he walked around the outer of his house. He's in a $2 million home. And he looked around. He said things looked out of place. Now, my guess is those detectives would have taken pictures of everything. They would have taken pictures of everything. And then there would be a complaint, a police report. And there would be a supplemental report as well that support whatever statements that were given. So all this is verifiable. So what I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, today is do not jump out the window until you are able to verify the details of what is being said. So in her video, she said certain things about the friends. But again, remember, this is a year later. She would have had to say the same thing she's saying online to the social media audience. She would have said that to those detectives. Because you're not going to say two individuals did this and this person stood by and watched or joined in. And you would have to tell the detectives this as well. Are people following me what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me in what I'm saying. Because we're going to go somewhere. We're going to take it somewhere else. Just put a 1 in the chat. Let me know you're following me. Okay, so We're going to talk about the other footage, and we're going to talk about the problem with the other footage as well. So I'm going to say this. I commend DJ Akademiks for telling this story. I commend him for telling the story. And those who have been the victim of false claims and have never said anything, it took a lot of courage for him to even tell this story. It took a lot of courage because he's a high profile figure. And people say, why is he telling the story now? It's because he had someone else that knew the story that was going to tell that story in their own way. So it was best for him to tell his story. So the individual that knew the same story, because that individual was dealing with him, is probably still dealing with him, I don't know. That person would have told the story, and it would have obviously had a different spin on it because it was his story. That person wasn't a part of it. So when he came out and told the story, I was wondering, I'm like, why is this guy telling this story? And where's the nexus or connection to why he's saying this? Well, we know the connection is now. If you have another individual that may want to use your same story to harm you, blackmail you, not even blackmail you, but to harm you, because he obviously said he didn't want to make it public. He had $100,000 attorney. Now, my question is, why you pay him $100,000 and you didn't go to trial? And I don't know if this guy overcharged you, but typically high-profile attorneys will charge you premium rate to get a situation resolved. That means to follow up, to contact the police, then find out where their investigation is going, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do I know? I had an attorney to charge me literally almost $20,000 or something could have been dealt with for like $5,000 or $3,000, but that's another conversation. So I understand why he didn't speak on this incident that occurred a year ago. And we know that he's been cleared because he's telling the story today. A case like that, he would have been at minimum charged, and it would have been public. So we got to assume that he and the individuals have been cleared, and we don't have to assume that because we are going to have the receipts that no one was charged. No one was charged with that crime. No one was charged with it because it wasn't a crime. How do I know? Because then that individual would have been arrested, and those other individuals would have been arrested already, and it would have been public knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. But why do you think that others have spent this story already? And I'll tell you why. Just looking at the way a video that was released online about a young lady screaming. A lot of people thought it was this lady right here in the video. It wasn't that lady. That was his ex-girlfriend who was screaming about something totally different. And you can see him walking into the room, and there's a dog in the background that's walking there. You hear that person screaming. He's casually walking in the room. That video is unrelated. So let's go ahead and look at why this is a problem. We want to bring another exhibit up here. So I saw this online earlier today or last night. So this site, this is a site that is promoting the narrative that DJ Akademiks essayed someone. This is a site that's doing this. But if you read it, Twitter has put a disclaimer that the contents of that post was inaccurate. So the video that people have been seeing of a person screaming is not even associated with this incident that happened a year ago. So people were running with that clip like it was a part of it. And if you look at it as a layman, you'll say, wow, this is crazy. This happened. Oh my gosh, he's screaming and everything. Well, no, someone interpolated the video of another situation and want people to believe that video supported the notion that he was actually charged with this, or he actually did this, or he was a part of this. But that didn't happen. That was fake news. That was literally fake news. And I would say and this is not, right now, I can't say this woman was a victim. I cannot say that, nor can any of you guys say that this woman was a victim. Because unless there's a police report that, but it's been cleared, there's a police report, but he has been cleared of this. So now she's said publicly that he did this to her. So my question is he going to sue this woman for saying that he did this when he was already cleared? That's the question. Because she said she's telling a story. I would say that you've told a story to the police back then. How much would your story differ from what you said back then when they were investigating this case in the first place? Because DJ Akademiks said his door was kicked in. He said that he was taken to the police department. He said he had videos, and all this stuff would probably be made available if there is a civil suit. But my question is, what did she say to the cops then, and what is her story going to be now? Because we're only looking at a clip, only a clip, and we got to listen to the context of what she says. Listen carefully what she says, because I kept on playing it back, and I was looking for something that give me an indication that this actually happened.
I look crazy right now, but I'm not going to stand here and let this man continue to lie about me. That's not what happened, Akademiks. You know that that's not what happened. And for you to pretend that you didn't do anything, that I just went to your house and I'm just some thought, like we didn't know each other for 2 years. You tried to save yourself after your friends assaulted me. Whether or not you got drunk or not, I know that when you woke up, you were on top of me too. You raped me too, and a rape kit was done. You know what? I'm gonna come back with my own story. This what you wanted, you're about to get it. I've been quiet for way too long.
I don't doubt that a rape kit was done. I don't doubt that at all. But a rape kit is done as part of a process in investigating a sex crime to make sure that, one, the individuals that she's naming are a part of that rape kit. But then if there's video evidence that shows something different through his surveillance cameras, then these detectives would have seen this. Absent of any video, they would have had to charge him and the other individuals, or at least the other individuals, because we don't know what she said. And until anyone out in the comment section that can produce a police report of that particular incident, as well as a supplemental report of that particular incident, you cannot run with fake stories on the internet. So again, I commend Akademiks for getting in front of this and telling this story. And then us journalists can pull the police report. We can pull the surveillance. We can pull all that stuff. All the surveillance is his property, but detectives would have had a closure to the report and said they cleared everybody. It's the reason they probably cleared everyone, because they interviewed all concerned parties. So he's telling the story. You say, well, this doesn't sound right. Well, the issue I had with a few things in the clip is, I don't know. I can't verify you have $500,000. I can't verify that person stole $500,000. No one can verify that because, again, how can you prove that? You can't prove that. Not saying Akademiks was capping about the money. It sounds good. But what I'm looking at and what I'm honing in on is what can be verified by authorities. So I always say, you don't get justice on social media, you get justice in the courts if you do the right thing and follow up and go through the process early on. So when people hear screams and all, I'm telling you, what may sound like one thing, it's not necessarily what it is, because no one saw it. You heard screams. You literally heard screams, but you know the screams are not associated with that particular incident because they would have been charged already, and because he even said it was associated with another situation, and he's not been arrested for anything. Do you think that this man would be out in public with these type of charges? Because there are no charges. It's just no charges. He's been cleared. And we're going to have a follow-up to this with a supplementary report. Because at this point, you need a supplementary report. You need to be able to see a report that says this incident was cleared by the police. That's what you need. You don't need people making videos and saying, well, this guy's over, he's canceled. You cancel him if the police report says something opposite. You cancel him if his story doesn't match up to what he says. That's when you cancel. You don't cancel on emotions, you cancel on what the outcome was. And the outcome essentially is showing that this guy was clear. That's it. So I know you'll want to run because Akademiks does different things online, and he trolls a lot and he does. But in this case, you gotta be very careful. Don't run with a video of someone screaming that doesn't give you full context of that situation. You just can't do that. Don't get caught up in the screaming of a video that is not even associated with this. If you can prove otherwise, if you can prove that video is associated with that, produce your proof. Produce your proof. And then the other question you would ask is, how did that video get out? Who released that video? Who had access to that video? Ask those questions. You got to ask some real questions. You just can't be reacting to a situation where you don't have the full context. You need full context. Someone says, where's your paperwork to show DJ Akademiks is cleared because he wasn't charged? That's the first thing you got to think. This guy would have been charged. You're talking about, you're claiming, or you suggesting that this guy committed this act. Where is the paperwork showing that he was charged? And you can say, I don't know, I don't have it. Okay, then don't say anything because you don't have it. Common sense would say that if this crime actually occurred, he would be charged with it already. And the other individual would be charged. And you can do your own research. How do you do it? How can I research this? You contact the police department. That's what you do. You find the detectives that work in that unit. That's what you do. You do a FOIA request and pull the documents. That's what you do. Don't run and say the person is guilty of something and when he hasn't been charged with anything. That is the problem. And this is why I said on my Twitter page that you must go to the authorities and let them do the job, what they do, and investigate crimes. You don't let commenters and YouTubers conduct investigations more than the police that will conduct investigations. So that's how you know. This man wasn't charged with anything. And it took a lot of courage for him to tell his story. It took a lot of courage. You got to give the man that. It took a lot of courage for him to tell the story. And guess what? Because it has now been memorialized on YouTube, he has a whole video out there. Those cops that conducted their initial investigation, they're going to look at this and they're going to say, well, okay, he said this in the video. He said this. He said this. What he said in that video did differ from what is in our police report when we interviewed him. Do you guys think it was smart for him to come out and say this? Well, if he was cleared, then he's going to put a story out there. He's not going to let someone else run with a narrative that is totally not true. It makes sense for him to get in front of this. It makes sense. As much you want to believe because you don't like him that he's guilty, he didn't ask me to say this. I haven't even talked to the guy. But I'm just saying, based on that video and him not being charged and no one else is being charged, you have to do simple deduction. The cops they cleared him. They cleared him. And that's just what happened. They cleared him. Don't cite percentages. Don't cite none of that unless you can produce the research material on it. Don't do that. Listen, You know, and there's some people that will want to run with a narrative because it fits their narrative. They want to run with it. They want to say, "Hey, you did this." Until you can provide proof, shut up. Until you can provide proof that he was charged with a crime and he's being prosecuted, shut up, because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. He wasn't charged with anything. And now you got to, if you don't believe he wasn't charged, just call the police department. That's what you got to do. They call the police department. But defaming someone because it fits your narrative is irresponsible. But enough of that. Enough of that. I'm gonna drop the link, and those who have the energy to come up here, and I'm gonna show you guys something. All the ones that are saying that he did it. I bet you won't get online and say that in this video and show your face and say that. I bet you will not do that. Because everyone get Twitter fingers and keyboard gangsters, but get online and say that. I'll drop the link and you come up and you say that. If you can't do that, don't say anything. Because right now, until we have anything that differs from him telling his story, like a police report that says he's being prosecuted, that's not happening. It didn't happen. And the young lady, I'm waiting for her to tell her story because she did a clip, but it's time for her to tell her story as well. Or is it? Can her story be backed up by what she told the police? I would guess it would be, because she wouldn't have left that part out. And she went to the police department, she would have said 3 individuals assaulted her, sexually assaulted her. She would have said that. Not a year later. You're not going to claim 2 people did it, and a year later you say he did it, because that's very convenient. When you're sitting there talking to the detectives, they're asking you pointing questions, and you're going to say anyone and everyone you believe was involved. So if her story doesn't support her claim that she made online saying this guy did this, you got to ask yourself a question. Why did she do it now? Why did she do it now? Not about protecting anyone. She had the opportunity to tell her story to the detectives. Did she tell her full story to the detectives? Because that's where you get your justice at. Not people just making up, I know you did it because that's what no. I'm too smart to believe that the detectives will overlook any suspects because they don't want to do their job. I am too smart to believe that. And I hope some people are smart enough to believe that as well. Choosing not. So it's a choosing not to pick up the case. They don't have a choice. These are felony crimes. These are, if they were true, they're felonies. If they got a judge to sign a search warrant, you had to make a affirmation to that judge that you believe that it was important to get a warrant to be able to seize evidence to preserve what could possibly be to prove a crime. And they got that. And then he said he provided his phone. And the things he said, it can be verified. It's memorialized on his video. So, for example, I talked to the detective. I'm doing a story. I want to see the supplement report. I want to see how this case was cleared. And it's going to be public. It's not sealed. Her name is, she did a video. Her name is out there already. So that's what you go by. And unless you're ready to do that type of work, shut up. Let's just stop talking until you're able to do that. Because I did a little something already. But that's a part 2 video. That's a follow-up. So you guys just have to be patient and wait with that one. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to the next story. Stay here because we're going to drop the link. And if you have any questions, actually, I'm going to drop the link now. Let's see here. Let me see here. Let me drop this link here. I'm going to drop this link right here. Okay. You want to come up and you want to talk, that link is right there. Show your face just show your face. Don't just come up here, just show your face. And maybe you don't want to show your face, then you shouldn't be talking online because it makes no sense. Okay, so let's go to let's talk about this other story involving Kevin Hart. Those who have been following this lawsuit, and those who have watched the live that myself and my colleague attorney Thelma Anderson discussed the other day, there was a lawsuit filed. It was filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, in which Kevin Hart, uh, along with with his attorneys, filed a lawsuit against blogger Tasha K, as well as his former assistant Maisha Shakes. In that lawsuit, there were 5 claims of action that was alleged against both Tasha K and Ms. Shakes. We spoke in great detail about that lawsuit. Um, the attorney was able to look at the video, and then later on, I was able to look at the video as well. I was looking at the video that of Tasha K interviewing this young lady. I looked at it from start to finish, and I was looking for things that would have supported the lawsuit. And it was things that the young lady was saying there in the lawsuit that was interesting. Some things were already said before, but she made a few claims in her interview to Tasha K that could be a problem for her. It could be viewed as defamation. But let me say this, and I'm gonna get this out the way. I'm not a wino. I don't really watch Tasha K videos, but I had to do this one because this was a lawsuit, and I covered the other case involving Tasha K that was in federal court, where I was able to look at the evidence that was presented to the jury, and I was also able to witness Tasha K on the witness stand giving testimony. I also was able to watch the videos that supported Cardi B's case. And I was looking for certain things in her style of interviewing. And I would say this. She's learned a lot from that lawsuit. Tasha K has learned a lot from that lawsuit. She didn't make the mistakes that she made previously when she was interviewing that young lady who had made certain claims about Cardi B. So she's more polished now, and I give it to her. I will give it to her. She did a real good job with the interview because she didn't add anything to the interview, and she wasn't even leading the girl she was asking questions, simple questions. She wasn't even leading the girl to say the things that the girl was saying in the interview, which suggests to me that this girl wanted to tell a story. Tasha was asking questions, and she did follow-up questions. And the follow-up questions, the girl, like if she was given a leading question, the girl clarified it and said, "Well, no, it's this." But it wasn't like one of her early on interviews where she was being kind of irresponsible in that style of doing it. But she's learned a lot based on me watching that interview, and I looked at another one too. So she's much more polished now. And that tells me that she's been talking, she's been learning, she's been consulting, and she's her interview game is really good. So for those who say that Kevin Hart has a case, I don't know if he has a strong case against Tasha K. What I'm looking for in that case is evidence that she tried to extort him, because that's the meat that we need to see. Did she actually try to extort Kevin Hart, or was there a conversation? See, we got to see if this is in written form. Do they have a recording? What do they have to support this extortion? Because that's going to be the first thing they need to tackle in this lawsuit. Now, was it a conversation where a phone call was made and said, "Hey, Tasha K," or did Tasha K initiate the phone call, or one of her representatives? And if so, what was the conversation? Were they trying to seek comment about some of the things that were revealed in the interview? Or was it a conversation where they said, "Hey, I got this interview, it's explosive, and we don't have to run it if you pay us this amount"? If that's the conversation, that might be a problem. But if that's not the conversation, the interview as it relates to interference with a contract, because there was an NDA in place, Tasha K signed an NDA with Kevin Hart or Heartbeat Studios. So why would she be obligated to honor someone else's NDA? And the other question with the NDA is there's no expiration there. So a judge who is the referee in this going to be in this case is going to say, well, she wasn't really under an NDA. Her NDA ended the last year that she was being paid. Because why would I think that? Is because you paid her the first 3 years for her not to say anything. So was it a fourth year? When did the agreement start and when did it end? A judge is going to have to referee that. Some would argue that she wasn't under NDA. She signed in the month of October 3 years ago. She did the interview with Tasha K a month after some may conclude the NDA expired. So then, was she still under NDA? The only issue I think the young lady will have is the defamation. And that may not be based on some of the things she said, because some of the things she said she didn't know. There's some of the things she said that it might not raise to the level that it harmed him. Because she also said, like, it was a reference to something that took place in the office with maybe someone else, another female. Now, if others will say that, yeah, we see this female come to the office and she came there, we thought it was his wife, but it wasn't his wife. And she also said, the young lady, Maisha, said that she told Kevin's wife about what she believed may have been infidelity. So if you tell the wife this, and then we don't know what the young lady's going to say. We don't know. The young lady may decide to sue Maisha, or she may not. And she may come out with a book, and she may do it the whole tell all, or she might have been paid not to say anything. We don't know any of that. So this is not the best lawsuit. This is not a perfect lawsuit by no stretch of the imagination. Cardi B's lawsuit was strong. It was very strong. This lawsuit looks very weak, very weak. Now, I know you want me to report this is a great lawsuit against Tasha K, but I can't say that. I just can't say that. And I will say that Tasha K didn't. She did a really good interview. The tactics she used in the past, I had issues with. For example, one of the biggest issues I had with one of her interviews, or one of the things the way she handled her platform, was that she received some information from a employee of a federal agency, and she shared it. But even that, and I think those who have been following the case, we're talking about R. Kelly and how the information that she received from someone could be a problem. But they sent it to her. Again, people send information all the time. They sent it to her. And I'm assuming that the federal government made sure that there was no money exchange. And that's why she might not get charged. She might have got charged because there was no money exchange. She didn't reach out. The person reached out to her, which would have cleared her, because people send me tips all the time. Do I run with everything people send me? Absolutely not. Do I verify? Absolutely. Is there things that I don't put out that's been verified that can harm someone? I don't put it out if I know it's going to harm someone. So she made the judgment call to put that information out. She received it legally. So I wouldn't have did something. I wouldn't have did that, but she decided to do it that way. That's her choice. That's her choice. And whatever comes out of that, that's on her as well. So you got to make the judgment call when you get certain information, and you got to know how to handle it. And you got to look at the risks and the gains of putting it out there. Did she take a big chance in doing that? That depends on how R. Kelly's civil suit will go. Who knows? So I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and Tasha K have not been on the best of a best relationship at all. But I'm going to give her props. She's a lot better now than she was back then. And I'm going to tell you something else I have an issue with. There's a certain major news outlet that is calling for her to be removed from YouTube. Is a major news outlet that is calling for her to be removed from YouTube. I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. That any news outlet at this point is calling for her to be removed when they weren't calling for her to be removed when the case, there are multiple cases that she was reporting on, they weren't calling for her to be removed. So my question is, why now are they calling for her to be removed when she's talked about, you guys know, she's talked about Wendy Williams, she's talking about tons of people. Then not a major news outlet was calling for her to be removed. So my question is, what is their motivation for wanting her to be removed right now after this Kevin Hart lawsuit broke? Something's not adding up for me, because if you were calling for her to be removed early on when people were saying she needs to be off the internet, what she's saying about Cardi just wrong. But no one called for her to be removed like YouTubers have, but not major news outlets. So now I'm questioning, why are they doing it now? Especially with this Kevin Hart lawsuit, when this lawsuit is very weak. So something's not adding up for me. I'm not saying someone's applying pressure. I'm not saying that someone's been enticed. What I'm saying is, why are you calling for Tasha K to be canceled now when she's been doing stories about different than who someone's, I don't know. I'm not saying that something's not adding up here. Listen, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to grudgingly say this, that she's sharpened her knife, in that she's watching the interviews. And I tell people, I'm never going to watch an interview. I'm never. But this one I had to watch because this is a lawsuit. I had to watch it. And don't you all want people to improve in their behavior? I do. I don't want her to be kicked off the internet if she's improving. If she was doing the same stupidness she did with Cardi B situation, absolutely. But if she's doing interviews and I'm watching it and she's not, if she's not leading and she's not paying people to say certain things, because ultimately it's going to fall on the other person, because as you see with this Kevin Hart lawsuit, Maisha Shakes got sued as well. And it appears that they're more upset with Maisha Shakes than Tasha K. And I tell you, you can see the interview on Tasha K Live, but I'm telling you, it was a clean interview. And most people wouldn't have got sued for that interview. Now, the girl would have got sued, obviously, because if she's saying defamatory things, then yeah, he's going to go after her. But then you got to prove it. And there's a high bar there because he's a celebrity. And if the NDA, it was invalid, then this case is probably not going. I don't think this case is going, to be honest with you, I've been doing this a long time. I do not believe this case is going to trial. I would probably bet this case is not going to go to trial, and it's going to get resolved before it gets to the courtroom through preliminary stuff. I don't think it's going to trial. This is not that case that's going to go to trial. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, I knew that was going to trial. Trump, I knew that was going to trial. Giuliani, I knew that was going to trial. Alex Jones, absolutely. This case is weak. It's a weak case. I can tell you, this is a weak case, and I don't think anyone that's reading the complaint and looking at that video will say, oh my goodness, this is outrageous. This one is a weak one, but we'll see. Okay, so I dropped the link. You guys saw the link there. Don't say I didn't drop the link. I dropped the link. You have the opportunity to click on the link. You didn't click on the link, that's on you. Last one we're going to talk about, Cardi B. Cardi B has doubled down. What do I mean by that? Cardi B, I'm sorry, Tasha, this is part of your situation. She has, through her attorneys, she has requested a judge to issue subpoenas of more information to lead to Tasha K's assets. So Cardi B hasn't given up on trying to procure whatever she can procure of that $3.5 million judgment that can't be discharged. But there's constantly the attorneys, Lisa Moore and her other bankruptcy attorneys are aggressively trying to still retrieve whatever they can retrieve from Tasha K. So she's not stopping. Anyone says, "Oh, she's stopping and she's going, she's giving her a break." No, she's. This is something that Tasha K has to pay for. This is something that Tasha K knows she has to pay for. Um, she's making money. She's making a lot of money. So this, but they still trying to retrieve whatever assets they can get as soon as possible, i.e., her residence in Georgia, any properties that she may own, any transferences of properties that may have happened. They're aggressively still trying to get assets, and we know that she's going to do this because her lawyers got to get paid. Her lawyers got to get paid, and they're getting paid. She paid 1.3 already to her attorneys, and they're still doing work on this case. She still have to pay for that. Will she be successful? Who knows? But she's not giving up, so she's definitely doubling down. Man, I'm not going to say that. I saw the comments. Anyone, let's see. Anyone want a comment read? You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. Hit the like, subscribe. Make sure you're hitting the button. Hit the buttons, ladies and gentlemen. I'm seeing if anything stood out. I don't see no super chats here. Nah, I'm not hitting no. Yeah, if you got a question, make sure you make your question stand out. Let's see what I got here. I think that the only. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that. I'm going to drop the link again. You don't want to come up? Come on. Come on. Here's the link. Come on. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Let's go. What do we got going on here? I just dropped the link. Let me double talk. Show that here. What's your thoughts? You have any thoughts on the academic story? You have any thoughts on the Tasha K. Kevin Hart story? You have any thoughts on Cardi B still going hard for her money? I posted the link if you want to come up and add some something to the story. This is your opportunity. Those people was loud in the comment section. Oh, he did it. I know he did it, but they won't get on here and say that. They won't come up and say that. They just have that energy on social media, but they won't come up and tell me why you believe what you believe. Do you have evidence to show otherwise? Tell me why you believe what you believe. If you have anything to show that there was a crime that occurred, come on up and let's talk about it. Don't try to play Columbo. Bring some receipts. Let's see here. And what I said, Miss Candy, we need to see the proof of the extortion because that's not in the complaint. There's no actual proof in the complaint right now of the extortion. So through discovery, they're going to have to present what they have to support there was extortion. Also, there would be a police report filed, and whatever they said to the police officer, you probably want to know where they filed the police report at. Don't worry, we'll have it for you. That would be whatever they said in the police report will be something that will be used in the case. What did you tell the police, and how was it reported? How was it reported? Because you said an associate of her. Police is not. What are they going to arrest the associate? Or they're going to arrest Tasha. They're going to arrest whoever committed the crime. And you got to prove that person was acting for Tasha K. You got to prove a lot. It's a lot you got to prove extortion. You really do. You just can't say they extorted me. You got to prove it. You got to prove it. You just can't say the word. You can put it in the civil complaint, but you still got to prove it. Let's see here. me see what you said. I'm gonna read what you said here. I feel like Tasha, addicted to the negative press. She gets. Let me tell you something. Let me explain this to you. And that's an interesting statement, and I'll tell you why. That lawsuit actually gave Tasha more press. That lawsuit gave her the press that she could not pay for. That lawsuit also helped her enrich herself and her platform. So that lawsuit, while filed and it looks kind of weak, it actually helped her. It was more valuable than not to her. That lawsuit actually might have been a gift for her. That particular lawsuit. The other one wasn't a gift. The one with Cardi B, that wasn't a gift. But this one here, because she's now being discussed in mainstream media, there are people who don't know about it that do know about her. Her goal was to be able to reach the plateau of a Wendy Williams. The other thing says she's reached that plateau already of a Wendy Williams in Wendy's prime. Do you think that this has really helped her? I would say it did. I would actually say it did. Because if people ain't talking about you, you ain't popping. So that's my thoughts. No, it wasn't Chelsea. Chelsea had nothing. What are you talking about, Chelsea? About what? What about Chelsea? Hold on. Okay, let's see here. That's right. Yeah, I heard it was Chelsea allegedly. What was it? Chelsea had nothing to do with it. Do what? What did Chelsea have to do with what? Oh my goodness. Chelsea somewhere cooking a meal. Chelsea somewhere preparing one of her meals. I hear Chelsea's a good cook. I don't know for sure. Let's see. What do we got here? I want to look at some of these comments. Oh my God, you're coming in hard. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Well, I see some comments. I'm not going to read them. They're not standing out. They're not standing out enough for me. So yeah, let's just, as a recap, let's just listen to what DJ Axe said. Let's play his clip now. Let's go.
I said, yo, I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, bro. And you came to my house and had two niggas just fuck you raw. I ain't seen no condom, no none. I said, yo, you should go get tested, man. Like you done. I said, that's wild, yo. You should go get tested, bro. And from that moment, she started like, because the denial shifted and she kept like trying to like pivot on the denial to, yo, nah, send me the video. Yo, I'm pretty sure I didn't fuck him. And I'm like, bro, you fucked him. And she was like, no, look again. And now I'm getting super tight because I'm like, bro, I'm not about to watch this video if you getting fucked, my nigga. Like, it's on my surveillance. Like, bro, like, I was fucking with you. Like, what? You want me to watch the video if you getting fucked? Cool. She keeps saying that, whatever. She then tells me, by the way, I ain't gonna lie, and I'm gonna keep it being about everything. My homies did not tell me they fucked her. At that point, I only seen on my security cam. My homies did not tell. Remember, they woke me up that night. Yo, let us out. Let us out the crib, or lock the crib. They did not tell me they fucked the bitch that came for me. They never told me that. You know when that conversation happened, I'm shaming her now.
Okay, so I'm not. There's some issues I have with how that all went down, if that went down that way. What kind of friends are you hanging out with that are smashing your guests is the question. I don't know. That right there, I don't know. Let me put this over here. Let's see, who's this? Zowie Gastani. This dude doesn't know what he's talking about, acting like you can't be charged. Listen, bozo. Let me say something, bozo. Let me say something. If you're following the story, you would know that the police were involved a year ago. They did their investigation. They cleared them. They cleared him. They cleared the other two people. It's no what's going to happen years later. They did their investigation. It's done. Come on now. And what she did the right way by reporting it. She wanted to see what was on that video as well. And the police saw what was on that video. And apparently they cleared her, cleared the individuals that were involved. We don't even know if she even said DJ Akademiks was even a part of that complaint. But the fact they took him down to the police station for questioning, maybe that might be a question. What did they ask him? Does he want to share that? But they cleared him. The case is, I don't know. Let's see here. What's going on? Let me get you out of here. I see you right here. Hold on. That is a fact. The woman screaming was not the same woman. Exactly. That wasn't the same woman. You heard her scream. No, that wasn't the same woman. Put it in context. That wasn't the same woman. Initially, a lot of you thought it was the same woman because someone edited the footage to make people believe that it was the same person. That's what was done. If you're following along, that's what was done. And when it was posted on Twitter put a disclaimer letting people know that was fake news. That's what happened. Let's see here. That's why I like you. You tell me. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. What is this in here? Okay, so all I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this, and so you can do your own. This stuff can be investigated. This stuff here can be investigated very thoroughly. You don't need to rely on social media to get your information when this can be investigated. And if you want to clear him again through social media, you can clear him again through social media, but the authorities cleared him. And that's what matters. I tweeted 2 weeks ago, you don't get justice on social media, you get justice through the courts and investigations. And that's not always the case. That is not, and there are also situations where cops drop the ball. But when they got a search warrant to come in this man's house and kick his door down, this got to be documented. There has to be a supplemental report. There has to be you have to have multiple people sign off on that to clear. Not one cop can't clear you. You have to have a supervisor to sign off on the report. And they're going to make sure that all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. And then we don't know what that individual said. I don't care so much about what she said on social media than what she said to the police when it happened. That's where I'm looking for. I'm not looking for emotional outbursts on social media. And I would say that an attorney by the name of Akeisha El Shabazz said it best. The police wanted to see what evidence you have. Basically, you don't need to be on social media. And this was a year ago. So why did it now resurface? It's because of an issue with someone else who might have wanted to use that to try to harm him publicly. How can he be harmed publicly? Just like he's being harmed right now. People are running with a false narrative. People are literally editing footage to create a narrative that didn't happen. No different than someone taking someone's face and putting it on someone else to try to tell a story. You can't get your news that way. You got to get it from people that will be willing to do the research to make sure that you're getting the best information possible. The stuff that you see on a lot of these pages, a lot of people, because they monetize the stuff, they make money off the spreading lies. People do this all the time. They do it all the time. Look at the video. I'll tell you, do this research. Look at go search right now. I'm gonna tell you, do this some homework. This is homework for you. Go search right now. Look at the video who has the highest numbers talking about this issue involving DJ Akademiks, and then look at it thoroughly and ask yourself, is there really any meat to their story? Is there really any facts supporting what they're saying that would make him be proven guilty and or innocent? And you'll say, well, they did some research. I don't know what videos out there, but I've seen some videos that I'm like, well, you guys are really say you're just regurgitating a false rumor. You're not really telling a real story. You're not really saying, hey, I went down to the LAPD, to the sex crime unit, and I did my investigation. You don't hear people saying that. Well, that's what we do. That's what we do. So if it's more need for him to provide more information for social media, that's on him. But if the police are not involved, that's on him. And if it was cleared and now she wants to file a lawsuit afterwards, one of the things that will come into court is that the police cleared him. And that's not going to make your case too strong. We've seen this recently when I covered the case involving FTN Bay and the rapper Duty Low. He ended up winning a judgment of $1.5 million against this young lady. And the police were involved in that case as well. They cleared him. And then they came back in and testified at a civil trial. And that person lost. Because one thing you don't want to have is in a civil suit that you're going to have law enforcement come in and say, no, this didn't happen. That's your case out. Your case is gone. You're not winning that lawsuit because the people that are responsible, that are delegated to investigate that type of crime, have cleared you. It's no jury that's going to say, oh, he's guilty now, because you're putting a whole organization on trial. That's what it is. Right. There are people, listen, let me say something. And I saw your question. People will say bogus stuff. They have no money. So they're almost debt proof. They have no money. They'll say the most weirdest stuff. But if they have no money, what are you suing for? Do you know how much it costs to litigate a case against someone? Thousands of dollars. A lot of money. A lot of paperwork. So the best thing you could do is come out, make a statement. It's cheaper than having to pay to sue that individual who don't have any money. Don't have any money. You can put a lien on them, but you don't know if they're even capable of making money. So it's a lot of things you have to consider when you say, I'm going to sue this person. It's a lot of things you got to consider. And any lawyer will tell you that if there's no money there, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. And I want to post that comment because you are totally right here. Okay, so I'm going to read that. It is R if you are the woman, blackout drawn in some states. Actually, in I think in every state, not just some states, you cannot give consent. You can't. Well, can you? You can't. Like alcohol can be a defense, well, not even defense. It could be a prosecution's tool, depending upon what is behind it. Because people drink all the time. Go out, drink. You just think about the relationships you have that you had a drink, and you had a drink or two drinks, and you had sexual relations, both consenting adults. At what point does that consent two consenting adults have sexual relationships that it turned bad? At what point is that? At what point is that? When the person says stop and you continue. That's when it's a problem. But just because someone was drinking doesn't mean that that wasn't consensual as well. You do know that too. While you put that nice comment there, you do know if two people were drinking, that is not the ultimate tool that you can use to accuse someone. Because what led up to your drinking, what was going on, is a variable things there. So you got to make sure that when you say something like that, it has to be supported by more than just that. They would, what we don't know we don't know her story. So this is we don't know what her story is. I want to see what she said in the police report. That's what I want. Not what she says a year later. I want to see what she said at the time the police investigated everything. And if you can't produce the report, then we can't talk about it. Let's go. Let's see. Let's see. What kind of lawyer is this? Girl, I'm not a lawyer. Chill. Get out of here. Okay, so someone said blackout drunk is unconscious. So let's talk about that. In DJ Akademiks' video, he says in his surveillance, there were things happening in that video on the patio. No one was unconscious in that video. That's what he said in the video. I hadn't seen the video. I don't want to see the video. But this is what he said in the video. So if you listen to his 1 hour video, he never said in that video that anyone was unconscious or drunk. And you heard no one say that. So that's a nice statement, but that's not applicable to what we're talking about right now. Right, Rick. That's right. That's right, Rick. Let's see. She said this. Let me see something. Okay, hold on. I didn't ignore your comment, but I'm gonna read it again. Women shouldn't drink. No one said women shouldn't drink. Don't twist my words. I never said they shouldn't drink. And how about men not take advantage of women? I agree. Men should never take advantage of women. But there are also women that are very consensual. So do we know if this is the case? So don't just say take advantage. If the police looked at the videotape, if they saw that someone was being taken advantage of, they would have arrested that person or persons. Let's not just throw things out there. And let's not just say only one person is responsible for behavior. Let's also look at the bigger picture. And if you don't have the bigger picture, you probably should just wait until you have the bigger picture, not just say anything because it sounds good on the internet. Let's talk about this situation and the specifics of this situation versus a general statement. That's all I'm saying. Don't take it the wrong way. Just take it for what it's worth. Oh, okay. Rick, you said that. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I thought there are a lot of comments coming in here. I don't know. Let's see. Man, right. Please feel right. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. That's right. You can't be mind stroke. What is mind stroke? Mind stroke. Mm, I believe most, which I agree with most of your statement. Mind stroke. What is mind stroke? Explain what mind stroke is. What is mind stroke? What is mind stroke? I don't know what mind stroke is. Mind, mind. Okay, sounds like, but now, please explain that, please. Come on, Keisha. Come on, Keisha. Come on, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, don't you? Let me ask you a question, ladies. This is for ladies and the fellas. Don't you want people to be able to get fair justice? And the system that we have set up in America through the law enforcement, that is the system that is set up. We can't now take, if that person goes through the process of filing the police report, it was a reason why she filed the police report. And I'm waiting for her to tell her story, why she filed the police report, and if it did happen. And if it did happen, what did the police see in that didn't support her story? It could be something that doesn't support her story. It could be something in there that doesn't support her story. Rick, send that to me, Rick. Send me follow. Listen, you guys want to get a message to me, follow me on Twitter and or Instagram at Mr. Dennis Byron. Rick, send that book to me. I'll look it up. But that's my social media at Mr. Dennis Byron. And I don't want anyone to confuse what I'm saying. What she did was the right thing to go to the police and let them investigate because I want to know, like, you had two people allegedly involved in the situation. There's some questions there, moral questions there, but I'm not the moral police. I'm not the moral police. Because in my heyday, anyway. Keisha, a rape kit only shows that the individual had intercourse with other individuals. That's what it shows. But does it support the allegations that have been alleged? Does it support that? That's the question. Don't just say rape kit was done. It's called a rape kit because this is what doctors use to examine people, and they gather forensic evidence to support a crime. They want to make sure they have the forensic evidence to support a crime. And that is just one element of the investigative process. A rape kit is one element of the investigative process. They have to look at other evidence to support a crime. A rape kit absent of details is just a rape kit. Yeah, Rick. I don't know if that was a boy, that was his girlfriend. What, I don't know what this. I don't know. There's some things. There's some pieces missing there, and I would like to talk to academics and ask them some more questions just about just the evening and what was the understanding when this girl came to the house, and why did your two friends that didn't know her, why did they think it was the cool thing to do to, like what I don't know. Um, I don't know. But can I say that there is many situations where consenting adults that just meet each other, for example, in the swingers clubs. There's swinger clubs in Atlanta, swinger clubs all over the country that they don't know each other, but they engage in sexual acts as consenting adults. That is a fact. Right. You're right. He can't answer. Right. He can't. Right. He can't answer that. You're right. He can't answer that. But he can answer. What he can answer is what was the understanding when what was told to her. I mean, this. Yeah, people can have jump like what was this the I understand that you were calling someone over and they were just hanging out having fun, and then if these people didn't know her, were you that inebriated that you left her with people that she didn't know? I don't know. I have daughters, and I would say that none of my daughters, none of my daughters, none of my daughters are going to be in that situation willingly. They're not going to do that. I know my daughters. One's a school teacher, one's a Navy officer. They're not doing that. But that's not for me to say what someone else is going to do. Just Bird. That's what social media does. Just Bird. I don't know, but that's what they do. Just Bird. That happens. They do this, and this is why he probably didn't want to talk about it back then when it happened, because of how the reaction of what happened. Do you know there's people that have stories that they'll never tell because of just how others who don't have any information on the situation are reacting. They are making it more about themselves than the other individual. It happens all the time. She said she was. Right. There was no cause. He was cleared. He was cleared. And like I say it again, he was kind of compelled to come out and tell the story because there was another individual that perhaps was threatening him to tell their story, their version, that wasn't even the girl involved. You know, so I mean, it took a lot for him to do that because he's a well-known figure, very public figure, and he's going to have people that will say what they want to say about him and wish for his demise. Right. Okay, Radiance. Yes, yes, yes. That's what we said. Yes, that's what we said. And you gotta put things in context. This is not 1980. This is 2023 going to 2024, and people are exposing, and I'll say exposing. I'm using air quotes, exposing others. What are the motivations for exposing others? You gotta ask that question. Just because someone tells a story doesn't mean that is the story. That should be a t-shirt. Just because someone tells a story doesn't mean that is the story. And I would say for the fellas and ladies who like to have company and invite people over, or men who like to invite women over, this is 2023 going to 2024. If you can afford to have interior cameras, exterior cameras, document it. You never have to release the footage, but just keep it to cover your behind. I have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cameras. Let me see. Probably 7 to 8 cameras in different parts of my house. Interior, exterior. For a reason. When you walk down the street in New York City, there are probably cameras on every corner. Yes, Big Brother is watching you as well as Little Brother's watching you. Yeah, I do. I hope that people are more thorough in their investigation before they start trying to cancel people without really knowing. And I'll say this, there are big risks involved when you have to wait 30 years to investigate something. Ask yourself a question. Everyone on this live right now, ask yourself a question. Do you really remember details of a lot of things that you go through life 10 years later? And if it's traumatic, yeah, you remember the details. But I just encourage people that if something really happened to you, don't wait to tell your story. Tell your story. That can be investigated by law enforcement first and foremost, not by social media. If it happened to you, tell your story sooner than later. So the people that can do something about it will. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just do it. Don't wait, and make sure you document it. That's it. Right. I don't know what I had for dinner last Thursday. What did I have for dinner last Thursday? I don't know. I don't know. So, like I see these cases popping up 20, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 40 years ago. I'm not comfortable with that. No one should be comfortable with that. No one should be comfortable with that because there is too much room for mistakes. There's too much room for mistakes. There are too much room for mistakes. The longer you wait, the longer it is to get it right. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Sorry, I had to send this text. All right. Anyone want to add anything to this conversation? This is your time. I'm gonna post a link. We've talked about this, I think, enough. I think we've talked about this more than enough until you guys are satisfied with what has been released. Just know that that man would have been arrested already. Okay. But then, Keisha, Keisha, let me ask you a question, Keisha. And be honest, Keisha. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question, Keisha. Is it to tell you a story when? So can I ask you a question, Keisha? How do you, with everything you said, Keisha, how do you make sure everyone's getting a fair shake? Because again, unless you're actually there, you don't know, but you can know more better if it's being dealt with more immediate than years later. I get that part. So we just have to do a better job in reporting it sooner than later, you know? Wouldn't you agree? Reporting something sooner than later. Do you think everyone that reports something 20, 50 years later should get the same type of justice that someone did reported a day later? You put more credence in the one that reports it a day later versus someone that reports it 50 years later or 30 years later. Where do we draw the line? Where do we say that it's almost like, I'll give this is kind of light example, but if your supermarket has a uh, buy one get one free sale, and they set it for 1 week, your local grocery 1 week, then then the manager decides to move the needle and say, "No, we're going to do it for a month, then 3 months, then 6 months, then a year." That's going to be major problems. There's going to be major problems because they're probably going to run out. They're probably going to lose more money that way. So you got to set a timeline in which you can do this. They call it statute of limitation. There still should be a statute of limitation. Statute of limitations were established for a reason. For the same reason, there's a statute of limitation so you can preserve, you can have the opportunity to investigate things. That's what whole purpose of statute of limitation. They established statute of limitation all different type of crimes. It's just like, if you don't have a statute of limitation, how then can you investigate a crime properly? That's all I'm asking, Keisha. Keisha, I'm trying to get your comment out, but too many comments are coming in, Keisha. Let's see here. Hold on. Eugene. Okay. When did the age of, let me read this here. Let's see what Eugene talking about. I don't know, Eugene. Interesting name too, Eugene. I don't know. Keisha, some things understood don't need to be said, Keisha. Some things understood don't need to be said. All right now, enough of this. This is enough of this enough of this conversation. What do you guys got planned for the new year? Are you planning on going out? Or are you planning on staying with your family, going to church, going to what are you planning on doing? What are you planning on doing? I'm planning on playing some board games, some mental games, some Rubik's Cube kind of contest to see how fast my skills are on Rubik's Cube, uh, and probably play a few board games. I'm not trying to be in parties. I did enough of that. I'm good. Just kind of chilling this evening. Really? Well, for those that are in England, Happy New Year. For those who are in England, Happy New Year. For those who are around the globe, Happy New Year. Oh, I want to say something real quick. I don't have the picture. I want to talk about something. I don't have the picture. We'll have to come back on that one. Now I can't really. Want to leave that. I want to leave that in 2023, and right now it's still 2023. Now you guys saw the good brother Tyrese uh, in a picture last week, and people say he's wearing a dress. He's wearing a dress. He wasn't wearing a dress. That is a part of the Islamic attire. That is a part of the Islamic attire. That wasn't a dress. So people just could easily research that. That is a part of Islamic fashion. He wasn't wearing a dress. So stop playing with that man like that. We having taco board. Oh, you have a taco night? Okay, board games and making homemade. Okay, Keisha, you're gonna be lit. Drink responsible. I'm having like a great Welch's champagne. It's not even alcohol, but that's what we have. I'm having that. Um, what else? Dinner. My dinner's ready now. I just got the text message. My dinner's ready now. But we're gonna play some board games. I need a good space partner. My current partner don't know how to play space that good, so I'm not cool with that. I need a good space partner. Right, stay. Get up. Don't. My car and my black ass is staying right here, not right here and right here, but right in the house. We ain't going nowhere. No, I'm good. Eugene, you want me to drop the link for you? Who's that? Eugene? Eugene, I'll drop the link. Eugene, come on. Get up here and ask your question, Gene, because I don't know what you're really trying to ask. Come on up here, Gene. I'm gonna give you one more shot. You got 3 minutes, and I'm leaving. 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to come up here and ask any question you want. Click on the link now. You got 3 minutes, and I'm timing you guys. 3 minutes, and I'm out. Come on up here, ask your question. Bidwiz and spades going plus good or fashion uno. Okay. You don't know about no Bidwiz. You don't know about that. Yeah, I'm bringing the cards out tonight. I'm bringing cards. We're gonna be in the dining room. We're gonna be. I might do some videos. I don't know. I might. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, time's up. Time's up. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for joining me tonight. Hopefully, I was able to uh, offer you guys something that you can sink your teeth into. Once again, uh, I commend DJ Academics for telling this story. This young lady can tell her story, but all I would say is hopefully it aligns with what the police report says, because that's the opportunity that you can tell the story. You said something to the public about he did this, but that should also be in the police report. And let's see what the conclusion of that police report investigation was. That's all I'm saying. Happy New Year, everyone. I want you guys to be safe out there. Love the person next to you, and be prepared for 2024, because we have some very cool things happening. Trials starting back on Tuesday for the YSL case that I'm covering. I'm also on pool rotation for the election fraud case in Georgia. We have some other cool things that I can talk about tomorrow, not right now. And I appreciate all of you. I really do. Hopefully, I was able to at least give you another way of looking at this. Don't be so quick to cancel people. Make sure you got all the details. Make sure they are vetted details, not just anyone saying anything, because that's the problem. People say anything on the internet, and you can't vet it. You can vet it if you really want to. There are more people who benefit from you not knowing the truth, because they can feed off of the lies. If that makes any sense. People feed off of lies. There are so many people making money off of lies on YouTube. So many people. But that's how you want to go into 2024? Make those people that you want to do, you follow, to do better research. Just make sure they're doing better research. They're calling me dinner ready. Just make sure you ask them to do better research and ask the questions. Ask intelligent questions. They're backed by more than just someone just talking. Research, 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 research. Do your homework. Don't just be quick to cancel someone because you're seeing someone manipulate video clips and throw photos in and say this and say that. And no, don't do that, because me, you do that, I'm coming for you hard. I'm coming for you hard. It's got to be better. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year's, everyone. God bless. God bless. I love all of you. I really do. And until next year, be nice, be kind to people. Don't ready to take people's throats off. Good night, family.